Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your February 2017 love reading. It's Rena here. Boy, it really got dark all of a sudden. So we just got out of a deep freeze. So how are the temperatures where you are? I know I was watching some video, somebody in Australia, and they were sweating like a pig, you know, and I just can't imagine that because it was just so cold. It was like close to zero. And this is Fahrenheit, so I don't know what that would be in Celsius, but you know, freezing cold. Really, really cold, and now it's getting a lot better. So I'm so grateful because it's like anyone who has lived in or around Chicago their whole life. You can live here for 50 years and you don't get used to the winters. I don't know how people in Minnesota do it because they don't seem to complain as much as people from Chicago about their weather, and they have even more harsh winters. So I don't know. That's my card. Okay. I like the focal point for this reading, Sagittarius. And, you know, I am a sun in Sagittarius, and even though I don't watch love readings, you know, I just think of this for and this is a love reading. This isn't a general reading, but I still like it just for myself. I love the Magician because the Magician is number 1 in the Tarot, in the Major Arcana. And we're in a one universal year. We're starting a whole new cycle. And what sign was it? I think it was Virgo that I just did this morning, and it was like a 0 with the Fool. And that's actually the first card. Well, the 0 is the unknown. The 1 is individuality and self-mastery and, you know, initiative. So there is this sense of pushing forward. In relationships, it can be, I feel like the Magician can also be a sense of feeling self-empowered. If you've been in a relationship that was not what you wanted it to be and you managed to get out of it or ask for what you want, that would be also maybe possible interpretations of that card. We have as the past position, the Knight of Pentacles. This could be the other person. This would be somebody, now I think it's connected to Taurus, but it could be any of the earth signs. So Capricorn, I connect it to Capricorn personally because there's an ambitious quality to this Knight. And the ambition is in terms of amassing material wealth. This is the only Knight. Well, I shouldn't say that. I read that somewhere. They said this is the only Knight that isn't crazy. But actually, the Knight of Cups isn't that bad. But this is a very consistent individual, if somewhat unimaginative and kind of plodding along, who is, you know, like a workhorse. I guess for some of you, this may be an aspect of yourself that has led to your empowerment, if you've been working more than usual. And I feel like some of you, because we have, along with this, we have this Hangman. So some of you may be, you know, left in the lurch about something. Maybe you thought you were going to progress in a relationship and somehow things have, stalled, and you don't know exactly what's going to happen. So maybe you were expecting by now that you would be getting married or you'd be having a family, and this other person is either like they can't decide, or they are somehow putting you off. Maybe they are doing a lot of work. Maybe you're not even physically in the same place. Maybe they're somewhere overseas or somewhere doing a job assignment, and so it's keeping everything on hold. But normally, I would say that this is a bad, well, I wouldn't say it was bad, but I'd say it might be problematic. But in this case, I don't feel that way, because you do have the Magician as the overall energy. So I feel that whatever is happening around you, you feel good about your situation. You don't feel like you're a person who is being, what's that term? Just like being strung along by this other person, that, they're just telling you what you want to hear, but they're not really planning on doing anything about the situation. It could be that you're the one putting a hold on things. Maybe you were involved with an earth sign, Taurus, as I said, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, and you have decided to take the wait and see approach for some reason. Maybe you had second thoughts. If that's the case, there could be another person. This may be a person from your past. We did have a Mercury retrograde. Today is the first day after it's gone direct. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, I didn't feel it like I usually feel it, but I still am always glad when I hear that it's gone direct. So some people may have heard from, lovers of the past. This could be even from childhood or adolescence. And this is the spiritual message in this reading. So it's talking about honoring those qualities, like old-fashioned qualities in life, over some other things, because that Knight of Pentacles is a person who may be able to offer you a nice lifestyle, but you may not really have that soul connection that this card represents. And that is always something that I think is a theme in relationships that end up not working out. And sometimes it's accompanied by an unexpected pregnancy. And the people feel like they have to get married. And then the woman talks herself into it and says, well, he's really got a stable job, and, my child will have a stable life and everything like that. But there's this sense of like not having that emotional connection that the Six of Cups represents. The Six of Cups is soulmate energy. So anything that doesn't feel like soulmate energy may be featured in your recent past, and it's leaving you feeling a little bit reluctant to continue. But the Hangman, I think too, is actually a good thing. It's the Hangman is connected to Neptune, and Neptune is a mystical planet and a mystical influence, but it can be confusing. It can be a bit vague, and some of the yearnings that you have may be coming from some otherworldly place. And so with one of the themes of the Hangman, because of that Neptunian influence, is sacrifice. So some of you may be tempted to continue in a relationship with somebody that you're not really in love with, because you're trying to do it for some higher motive. And that may not work out. So just remember that. Just think about that. That when you're sacrificing, it's not about some goal that you want to reach. It's because you're trying to make somebody else happy, and you're not worried about yourself. And most of the time when people sacrifice, there's like an ulterior motive. And if that ulterior motive doesn't, pay off what they want it to, then all of a sudden there's a sense of feeling disillusioned. And like, wow, I really gave up everything for this person, and look what I got. I got nothing in return. Well, maybe you shouldn't have given up everything. And, maybe you should have seen yourself as more powerful than that and able to make different choices. And that's what the Magician is about having that sense of self-empowerment. And, the number one is an independent vibe. So it's not somebody, and that's how Sagittarians are, all the fire signs, they are very much into the idea of personal freedom and independence. And they don't want to be reliant on other people. But, in this scenario, it could be that you're a little bit torn about what is the appropriate step to take. And this challenge is the Eight of Swords, which suggests that you may be your own worst enemy. And it would be in relationship to your ideas surrounding the situation. So if you're somebody who maybe, I don't know, if you feel like there's some reason why you have to be with the other person, and this may be, I'm telling you, this may be something that just all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you heard from some person that you haven't heard from in 20 years. And then it just threw your life totally up in the air because maybe you had kind of suppressed a lot of things. The Eight of Swords is about feeling a sense of limitation. And this can cause feelings of oppression, of being kind of trapped. And when you really believe that you are a prisoner of some sort, that sets up a chain reaction, because then you don't care anymore. You're just like fatalistic. You think that everything is working against you and you won't even try. And so as long as you do not, embody the Magician, and this may be the month where you finally have to kind of step into your power. If you don't do that, what will happen is that you will be that person who is left in limbo for God knows how long, until you can really, it may not be that you have a decision to make. It just may mean, well, I guess you would have a decision to make, but this is more about changing beliefs. And when you change those beliefs, and then you change your behavior. When you change your behavior, everything around you will change. I think so. I think that a person that embodies the Knight of Pentacles, they can be very, very grounding for a Sagittarian, but they might not be stimulating. And that can cause problems down the road. If you're the kind of person who's still finding yourself, or maybe you just are, sometimes Sagittarians are so much interest in different things that they spread themselves thin, and they have almost an ADD quality, or a flakiness that is not, maybe sometimes there's irresponsibility in making commitments, keeping commitments, and being organized and things like that. I'm just talking about myself here, actually. If that's the case for you, then that's something that you have to work on your own. That nobody's going to save you from that. And having somebody who is very conscientious may be like a godsend, but only if you connect with them on all levels, not just, to be your personal secretary or something. The advice is the Page of Pentacles. Or it doesn't have to be the advice. It could be something that comes to pass that is related to maybe a message. It could be like even money. It's not necessarily a lot of money, but it could be something sometimes for studies, for students. You know, the Page of Pentacles could be a student. But for some people, maybe that is how you are separated. If you're somebody going to university at that level, then maybe this person, you will be, you know, breaking up because of that. You will be separated geographically, maybe. But it could be that you receive a job offer, and that was the other thing too, besides going to school. It could be a job offer. And that could, you know, throw you into a whole new environment, and you will maybe grow apart from that person anyway. And it will be a natural, organic kind of a breakup. It won't be just like something ugly, something sudden. But it might be saying that a person that is an earth sign, if you were involved with an earth sign and you were wondering if they were going to commit, maybe they will get in contact with you about your relationship. And I'm trying to think, what would be the best sign for a Sagittarius if they were going to go earth? What should they go? I would say it would be Virgo. You're both mutable signs. They're ruled by Mercury, so you have something to talk about. That's my feeling. But Mercury and Sagittarius do form a square, and sometimes there can be quite a few clashes between people that square up together with their sun signs or any other personal points. But it looks to me that some of you are going to say bye, because this is a card of not feeling fulfilled emotionally and leaving. But it sounds to me like there's somebody else, you know, soulmate lurking in the background. And maybe you're off searching for that. This can be almost like a spiritual quest. So it could be that, you know, some people are getting some kind of funds to be able to, you know, travel abroad and maybe study abroad. And that's going to morph into a spiritual quest as well. And who knows, that could be where you meet the person that you're meant to be with. And, you know, when I say soulmate, it doesn't have to be from the past, unless you're talking about past lives, but not necessarily from your high school or you know, grammar school. Boy, that's really interesting, all these stories that we're telling here. And obviously this is a general reading, so I'm kind of, you know, going off on a tangent, not necessarily what's happening in your life. Hopefully at least a few of the cards connected with you. But if you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below. What I do is, when I do love readings, I look at your chart, and I use the tarot as well, but in a secondary way, because I'm not doing live readings. So I'm looking at the charts, and I need to be more precise when I'm looking at cards. It's so open-ended, you know, it's symbolic. And if I were to do Skype sessions, maybe I could say, okay, who's this guy? You know, so I just say that once in a while, because sometimes people, you know, are wondering why I do what I do. So in any case, Sagittarius, have a great month. Bye.